We got Clay Overlien. Goodness gracious, coming back. I'll tell you, we talked about last time when we got together how good of a networker is, and Clay shared with us some of that great insight. It was very powerful because he's probably out of it. My friends think he's the best networker in town. But beyond that, he's working at a great company now, which he offers merchant card services. Mike and I were talking a little bit beforehand. What do you have any idea what percentage, and this is kind of a curveball because we haven't talked about this at all, but out of our GDP, we used to do a lot of cash transactions before. I would imagine probably most of our GDP today is based upon these merchant card services.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Mike asked me that question before we started today. I would say if you're a restaurant, it's probably 90-95%. I know my wife and I don't write checks anymore. Everything's done with debit card and credit card.
Online.
Online in restaurants. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I detest when somebody asks me for a check. Jason will attest to this.
Yeah. Where's that check, Leonard?
Where's that check, Leonard? It's like, all right, I'll get it for you next week. Because I literally don't carry around a checking book anymore. My wife takes care of everything. So if anything, she's got the checkbook at home, and if something needs to be paid by check, but I would much rather prefer to have it done online or electronically.
And what's crazy about this is the majority of a business owner's revenue more than likely comes through a credit card machine, and that's the last thing they think about going out and building a relationship with. When I was in banking, I would tell people I had one rule of banking with Clay. You had to let me introduce you to 3 other people at the bank. In the merchant card industry, it's incredible the scams that we see and the ways that people are duped into taking contracts for merchant services. We do not do contracts at Cornerstone. We see people that will lease a $700 machine for 3 to 4 years for $50 a month, and you guys that are CPAs,
no,
you can
that's a lot of money.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And so I always encourage people, come visit us. In fact, in our case, I know of one other competitor of ours that has an office, I believe, in Vegas, but we are located in the Acuity Financial Center at the corner of Charleston and Buffalo. And I say if somebody's pushing the money on your day-to-day money transfers, you ought to go see who's pushing the buttons.
Yeah, Clay, this is kind of an interesting question. A lot of people have a small business or do something very, very kind of like a cottage industry, very, very limited, and they might use that Square device. Mm-hmm. Is that something they could look at maybe changing if they knew of other options? What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that, and I won't go into this Square issue. We have swipers if somebody wants the convenience of that. I believe you need to be with a reputable, PCI-compliant merchant services company. Uh-huh. Square is, I haven't studied enough, and they're changing, so I'm not going to go into details on that.
I was just curious because I know I really don't know the difference, and people might be interested in knowing.
Well, Square obviously hooks into your cell phone,
yeah.
And I have gentlemen that I know and ladies in the IT industry that tell me, and just what I've been hearing is that when you swipe a credit card through Square, it stays in your phone.
Yeah, it stays there forever.
So with I was listening to Kim Commando the other day, and they were saying that all these malwares and spywares and hacking things that have been going on. I was talking to a gentleman I trust with an IT industry, and he was saying that you can now download an app, and it can have malware, spyware in it, and it'll search through your phone to find account numbers. So you could be liable if, let's say I have you 4 gentlemen here in the studio, I have your credit card information because you bought something from me and it's on my phone, I lose my phone. Who's liable for that? In fact, that brings up a whole new deal. The merchant is liable for things when things go wrong. So that's why they need to be with a company that can jump on a computer like we can and see where the money is going into the banks.
So if I have the Q and I'm using the Q in my business, which is that, or is it Square?
Yeah.
If I'm using the Square in my business and I run it, and does that retain my prospective clients or customers' credit card information? I thought that was kept separate, but I guess it retains is what you're saying?
That would be the only thing that I'm not going to, I will just say that's what IT people have told me, computer guys that are gurus in this. I can't speak for sure on that.
Oh, yeah. Well, it makes sense that it
sure
would be
does.
retaining things because they always get information. The authorities can get information off of your computer systems even though you've deleted it, so it still retains it. So I think that fraud side is extraordinary.
Huge. I was telling Mike before the show that people don't realize this, but I mentioned it in the last show. And by the way, thank you for having me back. I didn't get to say that.
Oh, it's always a delight to have you here, Clay.
The credit card
machine. Brighten the day.
Yeah, thank you. The credit card machine that sits on most people's desks, they just think of it as a tool. They swipe a card. They don't realize it's a direct gateway, a portal to their bank account. If I were to, we landed a huge account a couple years back, and we're proprietary, so I'm not going to mention the name. But they had about 100 machines, and they were going to be non-compliant, so they needed to buy more. So they went to put out the bid. We got the account. Our owner, Chuck Lay, took all 100 machines, 100 plus, back to our office and wiped all the bank routing information off the machines. Yes, folks, those machines have your routing information. And somebody that knows what they can do can take a machine home and hook it up to a phone line, buy a Walmart gift card. I don't mean to put Walmart into this. They're a good place to buy. But you can get a gift card, and you can do returns all day long as there's money in that individual's account. And unless they're checking their account, they don't know what's being taken. And even if they find out it's being taken, they can't trace it. It's crazy. So what people need to do is they need to set their machine, program it so not everybody can go in and do that. Just like, say, the owner or the manager.
That's always good to get new ideas, I guess, for how to commit crime, right?
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy what we're seeing in security, lack of security.
Leonard is losing.
Am I out? Have I lost my mind again?
You're back, Leonard.
It's always
welcome back.
It's always good to be back. Just minor technical difficulties.
Yeah.
So, Clay, you also do. I wanted to touch upon, and we got a lot of things to touch upon, but I want to touch upon merchant advances because I think you folks do that as well. And what number one, what is a merchant advance, and number two, when might it be appropriate to consider a merchant advance?
In the industry, in the merchant services industry, it's called a cash advance. To me, that sounds like somebody named Doug working out of a van down on Fremont Street. So I call it working capital because of my banking background, but it is called a cash advance. And what it is done is a loan against future credit card sales. I don't recommend it unless we use it only as a tool at Cornerstone Merchant Services to assist our clients when they have a need. Every CPA I've ever talked to says unless it increases your revenue, it's not a good deal. We do not use it as an income source at Cornerstone. Chuck Lay, our owner, started this as a program to keep his clients alive. So as an example, I'm going to use a hypothetical. A restaurant needs a new oven. They don't have equity in their home. They can't get funded by the bank, but they're doing $55,000 a month in credit card sales. We can advance them $55,000 in credit card sales and do it quickly, usually 7 to 10 days. And the folks that are listening, if it can be done quickly, it's a very easy application, and it's fast money. It's probably expensive. So with this particular case, we were able to lend $50,000. 7 days, they got the new oven for the business. It helped them save their business. Our accountant in our office, Susan Lee, sat down with the business owner, looked at his daily spreads and his weekly and monthly, and said, okay, will it hurt your business to raise certain prices a certain amount of money? He did that very wisely so, paid the loan off in 7.5 months. He's still one of our top clients today.
Oh, that's very, very important.
I know that there's a cost to it, but the reality is you look at cost benefit and you see the urgency, and I think it's important to discuss that is a possibility when things are a little bit tough.
Right.
That people have that option and then they can take advantage. Now, tell me a little bit about what the payback is like in terms of that stream.
What can happen is, in this case of this, the hypothetical, a $50,000 loan, they can pay it back two ways. One can be ACH'd out of your bank account, which I don't necessarily like because it's a fixed payment every week that comes out. I like the split funding. It's generally 80% goes into your, if $100, if you take $100 in, $80 goes to your bank, $20 goes to pay off the principal of the loan. The beauty of the split funding is if you have a slow month, if somebody's doing construction in front of your restaurant, and all of a sudden business slows down, you're not locked into that ACH payment. So it's more flexible. But once again, it's got to be something, I believe, that increases your revenue, not something that's going to hurt you.
Speaking with Clay Overlien, what is your contact information, Clay?
Our website is www.cornerstonemerchant.com. People can reach me at clay@cornerstonemerchant.com. And our office number is 702-880, had to take a look, I'm nervous, 8116.
There's not a nervous bone in your body, my friend. We're going to be delighted to have you back on again shortly.